Hi everyone, it's Bogdan here. Recently, me and some backers got together to try to assemble our own little mystery, like just a quick one, using the mechanisms that the game provides. So, following is a recording of our process and of everything we put together. Big thanks to Brothgar, Fleek, and Jay Larkin for participating in this, and I hope it's interesting for you to listen to. The whole mystery took about 1.5 hours to prepare, but that's been edited down a little bit in this recording for you. So when you play D&D, do they focus on the action or on the exploration or what kind of thing?
So when I'm GMing, I always make a sandbox because I enjoy sandboxy games. So exploration is primary, followed by ridiculous shenanigans.
Excellent. Well, fortunately, Grey Cells is fairly sandboxy in that you don't have to set up... basically, all you need to do as a GM is know what happened and know what's going on now. So apart from that, the investigators are free to approach the case however they want. And that's really important for me because railroading and having trail of breadcrumbs is all well and good, but it's not how I like to play.
Right.
And I think that it's also not how a lot of other people like to play. Like Apocalypse World and that entire movement is entirely about play to find out. So I've put a bunch of stuff in the document. And these are my own personal starting points for every mystery I make. So, begin with the crime. You don't have to think of anything specific. We're not going crazy just yet. Just pick one of those crimes listed. Probably murder, homicide.
Of course.
And yeah, we'll go from there. If your group comes from a very D&D background, I'm going to say we're probably safest off going with something hard-boiled because there's it's a very popular, you can't go wrong with hard-boiled, and B, it's one of the more action-packed genres of crime fiction. Okay, so the first step is to figure out who did it. And when I think about that, I think what kind of person is this? Is this someone who is rich? Is this someone who is desperate? Was this an accident? Was this a crime of passion? Are they a serial killer? That kind of thing.
Okay.
So pick something entirely at your whim, because we can go back and change the stuff later if something else fits better.
And abused subordinate. All
right, cool.
I literally thought you were going to say an abused child, by the way.
That's going way off the dark end right there. I mean, it's still moderately dark, but we're dealing with murder, so it's always going to be at least a little dark, isn't it? Okay. So, why did they do it? Fleek. I mean, it kind of answers itself a little, but you can go into a bit more specific on what exactly the situation was. Why was murder their answer here for whatever the situation is? At this point, just be very general. Be vague, be general. Nothing is set in stone. It's fine.
So I think because they were abused, they decided to let off some steam.
Okay.
But didn't know where to aim it, so to speak. And it just happens, It just happens when you're too into the act.
So it was an accident.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. All right. So we can write in there so it was an accidental victim because they were just breaking something or something to that effect. They were trying to pull some shit. They didn't mean to hurt anyone, but someone ended up dead. Maybe their boss. Maybe not their boss. Who knows?
Whoever it is, they just died.
All right. So now, how did they do it? How did this murder happen? I guess at this point it's manslaughter. Was it they were just throwing bricks off the building? They were trying to smash some windows or something? They were breaking company property? Or they were pulling a prank? Again, we're not going into the specifics of how they died. It's just in what field are we pointing?
Maybe he was trying to sabotage something at his workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And that accidentally caused the death of somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So not directly of the sabotage, but it caused this cacophony and slid it down.
It may not have been the direct cause, but it set off a Rube Goldberg machine, and there was a corpse at the end of it.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, they were just trying to get back at the system or something.
Right.
And it very quickly went out of their control, and someone got super dead because of it. All right. So what happened afterwards? At this point, so put yourself, you don't know specifics yet, but put yourself in a position of this guy. He's just done his thing, and there's a body in front of him. What's the first thing he does? Or
Panic.
she? Yes, panic.
Panic seems to be the...
Do they try to cover it up? Do they try to get help? Do they try to pin it on someone else? Yeah, my inclination here would be in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, so try to cover it up. I would go with that.
So the villain's plan now is, this refers to, so they've covered it up, at least they've tried to, and now it's like the start of the adventure where the investigators have put on the case. What is the villain trying to do now? And generally this is talking about like what the end of the villainous agenda track looks like. So in the short term, they've covered it up, and ideally no one knows they're dead yet. Maybe they're just missing, but they have an ultimate goal. So the killer has an ultimate goal, which could be, I gotta just like turn in my resignation or something and just get out of here real quiet like, or it could be, I gotta pin this on someone else because for whatever reason I want to stay around here. Or it could just be lie low and hope nobody notices.
Well, I would imagine the plan is to pin it on the abuser.
Opportunity. All right, excellent. So, a little murderer is learning fast.
Now, why does this start to sound like one of the characters I thought of?
Yeah, I mean, these things are tropes for a reason, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's good. It's going well so far. So, they've killed this person, and they're like, I've got a body on my hands. Let's just stuff it in the maintenance closet for now. And, while I'm at it, I can just get back at whoever's abusing me, who might be their boss, might be someone else. We'll figure that out later. Now, what brings the investigators in is pretty self-explanatory. What has happened that's drawn the attention of the investigators? What's happened that someone has called them to the scene or into the adventure? I imagine this person's gone missing.
Right.
I mean, none of these... The trick with all of this stuff is don't try to be fancy. When you're coming up with the stuff, just pick the most boring thing, right? The most straightforward, sensible thing. Because if you get fancy with it, A, it becomes harder for you to keep track of everything and you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And B, it becomes harder for the players to solve it as well. Because the more mental leaps you have to make to get from A to B, the harder the case is. And from the exterior, from the position of anyone who's not the GM, even the simplest mystery is pretty tough. For bonus points, who called the investigators? Was it the boss, or was it someone else? Or was it like the person's family?
Actually, the first thing that came to my head was the subordinate himself.
Okay. Interesting. All right, so they're pulling the old, I couldn't have done it. Why would I have called you? That's crazy. Okay, so at this point we have like the core of our first event. Once we have this, we can start to expand upon it. So for each of these points, we can ask any of the following questions, like who else was involved and how were they involved? What needed to be prepared beforehand? So like in order to do these things, what did it need to do? What went wrong? Which is always a good one because there is no such thing as a perfect crime. Generally speaking, whenever you're coming over an event, something went wrong. What does this change? Refers to, okay, so things are different now. In what significant way are things different? Like, who benefits from this? Who is now screwed because of this? That kind of thing. And what opportunities does this create? This could be for the villain themselves, like how can they use the situation to get ahead? Or it might be for someone else who can like take advantage of the situation. So let's just figure out what went wrong, because there seems to be a point here where something went horribly, horribly wrong. So sabotage spiraled out of control. What exactly went wrong with this? So let's have a think. So at this point, let's start thinking about what exactly the sabotage was. What kind of company are we dealing with here? Are they like an office? Are they a mining company? Are they like heavy industry, car manufacturers, software?
I think this kind of thing fits something in like heavy manufacturing or some place where machinery is involved.
Okay, some heavy machinery. All right, and so I guess the sabotage would be like maybe there's a expensive piece of machinery and the killer was dicking with it in order to, cost to have to get it serviced, cost the company a bunch of money, etc. But they messed up with the sabotage and someone tried to use it and got killed.
Yeah.
All right, and that could have been like electric shock. It could be like, no, I'm stuck. No, I'm crushed. It could be like a room was locked and filled with poison gas. Who knows? We'll work that out later. All right. So we know what went wrong. What needed to be prepared beforehand? Okay, someone pick one of those 5 questions and just pick a step along our core to apply it to, and we'll figure out what it is. I mean, opportunities-wise, it seems like there's an opening in a company now for whoever that was.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait. I think the more pertinent question for this step would be what needs to be prepared beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, because they needed somewhere to put the body. They needed some way to, like, make it seem like the machine isn't now covered in blood or whatever. It's all fine. Maybe the next car is just getting a fresh red coat of paint. Who knows? Now, if it's an industrial place, they've probably got a bunch of, industrial chemicals and whatever else. Enough on hand to just, like, wash away the blood.
Right. Plenty of cleaners.
Yeah. So, when exactly did this happen? Was this, like, after hours?
Oh, yeah, it would have to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was
when nobody's around. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like maybe someone came in early to do some work and tried to use the machine and got pasted. So they had that window where, work hadn't quite started, and now someone was dead, and people were like, the doors were opening in an hour. So they've got to put the body somewhere, and they got to like fix this machine quick, smart.
Right.
Yeah, I imagine that's something they had to do, right?
Right, of course.
Fix the machine, because otherwise it's like super obvious, or rather, there's a giant arrow that points to how the person died. And possibly even, like, at this point, their plan probably involves like fabricating a motive for the boss or for the abuser.
Right.
All right, so we've got a decent idea of what happened now. And what's extra good about this situation is that we get to follow it up with some more crimes. So when I reach this point where I've got the core event and I know what sparked everything, I think, all right, is there something else that happened or is about to happen that is going to be important? And if there is, then I take these questions and I start again on that event. So, all right, so the first event is someone gets squished by the big machine. And then a second event is something to frame the abuser. So who did it? Same guy.
Same guy, yep.
Yep. All right. So the good thing about, carrying events off, so chaining events off one another, is that some of these questions become really easy to answer. Like, why did they do it? Yeah, to cover up their own murder. Oops.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty fast to fill in, but we can like branch off those with new questions. So,
right. So this is where it gets interesting, is how did they do it?
Exactly. So I imagine this person probably isn't very popular, right?
Right, yeah.
They're probably not just picking on the murderer. They're probably picking on other people as well. So maybe they can leverage that, right?
Right.
So how do they do it? I imagine it has something to do with that person's record of being a bastard.
Right. So fabricating a motive and fabricating and stashing evidence.
Yeah, finding something that will that they can use as credible motive for the murder. Or maybe just saying like, they're crazy, they're abusing us this whole time, and now they just went too far. Something like that. So leverage the history of abuse. My thinking on this is, and this is up to you, at this point, is there someone else involved? Do they gain an accomplice at this point? Because it seems like,
it seems like yeah, I could easily see that. Gets a maybe a lookout, or maybe somebody who doesn't know that the guy got squished, but somebody who is still complicit. Maybe helped with clear, knowing when the floor was clear, or maybe something like that. Yeah,
they'd know something about it, and helped in some way to pin this crime. Maybe they didn't know exactly what they were pinning on them. Maybe they were just like, hey, I'm going to do something to like get back at this person we both dislike.
Right.
And they're like, sure, yeah, let's do it. And they thought it was a prank or something, but it's actually super murdery. At which point, so if they don't know it's super murdery and it gets out that there's been a super murder, they'll probably flip on this guy real fast. And you know what that is?
That is what do you call it in the PDF? The fault, or the pressure point?
Well, I was going to say that is excellent motive for a second murder.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, that would be another part on the track.
Yeah, where it's just like, oh wow, now this guy's gone missing. How weird. This machine's getting real grindy. All right, so someone who also doesn't like the abuser. So someone else is involved. Maybe they help them get some information, like on that person, like find out their schedule or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So what happened afterwards? So they've got this body. where did they put the body? Is it still on site, or did they like drag it into a trunk? Maybe it's like this big heavy machine arm that they were trying to use, and it just like spun around and whacked him in the head and killed him instantly. So like there wasn't that much blood. It's not like a giant drill when it threw him or anything.
Yeah, so I think that at the time of the start of the investigation, it's stashed somewhere on site, and they're just waiting for it to be waiting for the clearing
coast to clear,
to
yeah.
move it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's still there somewhere. Interesting.
Like maybe like the cleaning room with all the smelly chemicals or something.
Yeah. I'm sure they've got some storage which doesn't get a lot of traffic and is like just spare parts for like an older model or something.
Right.
So they're required to like keep that stuff on site for repairs and things, but they rarely have to actually dip into it.
If you wanted to make things complicated, you could have it be stashed with like outgoing product.
Hey, now we're talking.
Now we are talking.
Like in the trunk of a car that's being sent out.
Yes. That's
Also,
interesting.
Apologies for taking so long to talk. I'm getting over a cold, so my throat is just not thrilled.
No. Take care of yourself, please. But yeah, if you want to pitch in, absolutely you're welcome to. And that is an excellent idea. All right, so yeah, I love that idea that they're about to deliver some cars, and he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna stick this in one of them and hope for the best. And whoever receives the car, just hope they don't have to pack any luggage for a while. Oh man. Oh, and if we want to go extra gross, like they could even use like a giant Ziploc bag sort of thing for big parts that they would use to transport them. And that way they could contain the smell for a while. And it's just like this vacuum sealed plastic sack around the body.
Just put him under the upholstery.
Oh man, where the spare tire is meant to be. Oh jeez. Oof, that's dark. All right, cool. He's probably too big to fit in a tire space, but something to that effect.
You don't measure your trunk in bodies? Come on.
In this game, apparently you do. All right, so let's just add that into the previous one. What happened afterwards? They cover it up, clean up the scene, find a place to stash the body. What does this change? There's now a car with a zip-locked body in the trunk. Excellent. All right, so at this point, we know what a villainous agenda is, right? At the end of the track, that car gets shipped out. And we lose our body. And as I say, no body, no crime. And so I guess what they're trying to do with framing the abuser is not so much get them pinned for the crime, as it is to buy themselves time to get away with it.
Right, so that's what happens afterwards is they get away with it.
Yeah, basically. So they buy enough time that the body disappears. For now, at least. I mean, their customer service is probably going to get an angry call at some point, but it's fine.
In 5 to 10 business days, there's going to be...
So yeah, I guess their plan now is just to muddy the waters enough to ride it out. All right, and what brings the investigators in? Like the murderer himself, right? Or themselves.
Yeah.
Because they start pointing fingers. Okay, cool. So, who else is involved? So someone is helping them frame this person. And they probably... Okay, so what did they do to help frame this person? Maybe they cracked into their email or something? Yeah, because
yeah,
I guess like if this person's the piece of shit we seem to think they are, then yeah, there's probably like digital records of their abusive behavior and whatever else. So they can break in. Oh, here's what happened. Okay, cool. So this person needs their help, needs the accomplice to get into the guy's email. And need to get into the guy's email to fabricate some messages that would create the kind of environment where murder would be viable. So it's like maybe they're talking mad shit about this person. It's like, we'd be better off without them or something like that. And just backdate those emails and then you're fine, you're golden. So what goes wrong?
maybe one of the emails is dated at a time when the guy's not there, like he's on vacation or something.
Yeah. So them denying that they know about the emails makes sense, even if they were sent, right? Because like, of course not, we would never do such a thing, even if they totally did. But because this guy would probably be denying everything that's leveled at him. Okay, so that the like error in the emails, the investigators like might pick that up through a check or a dig deep. It's not like critical to the case, it's just something that points them in the correct direction. But yeah, we don't have to worry too much about it for now. So what does this change? Let's go back to the car with the body in the trunk. I imagine whatever the murderer is doing right now, he's keeping a careful eye on that car, to the point where like they might be neglecting some other duties in order to keep it in view and make sure they don't get, well, convicted of murder. Seems reasonable. What are we missing here? So far, we've got the event. This guy messed with a robotic arm, smacked someone over the head. They died. They put the body in the trunk, and then they sent some emails with the manager's account to make him look like he was considering doing something drastic. All right, so let's have a look at the abuser themselves. All right, let's decide who this is. Is this like a big boss, or is this like a factory manager? Who are we talking about?
Like a foreman, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Like the kind of guy who yells at you because you're taking an extra minute on your lunch break.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So far, yeah, I think we've got enough here to go into like the start to detail things step. So, draw connections where they appear, leap at ideas that excite you, explore where they take you, and change what you need to. All right, so first of all, let's draw some connections. We've got a couple of characters so far. We've got like 4 significant characters so far. I'm going to put the people of interest down at the bottom. So person of interest, we've got those guys. Eventually we're going to give them names, but for now it's not a big deal. First of all, the accomplice. I mean, the easiest connection we can draw is that the accomplice was somehow connected to the victim, which gives them, like, once they realize something's going on, it gives them more of a reason to turn against the murderer and in turn get killed. Okay, so one hole I see is why was the victim there early?
We could make it ironic and make it that he was doing safety checks.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes. All right, cool. And we can take that a step further and say that the foreman was specifically telling this guy to show up early to get his checks done in time for work.
Yeah.
Right, so they could get onto things. Okay, interesting. So that gives our murderer something to go off, right?
Yeah.
Because the foreman knew the guy was going to be here and in fact created a situation where he was here, which casts some shade on the old foreman. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's go back to frame the abuser. How did they do it? What happened beforehand? Okay, so the foreman asked the victim the safety inspector to be there early, which is say demanded, because as we've established, this guy's a prick. So we've got the victim, who is a safety inspector. We've got the foreman, who is a prick. We've got the accomplice, who, if they've got access to the emails and stuff, I imagine they're either IT or otherwise in administration.
Yeah, totally in IT, because creating backdated emails is kind of hard.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So did this IT guy just like give him access to the emails and be like, all right, what do you want me to backdate? This one that says I'm going to murder a dude? Okay. Not suspicious at all. All right, well, I mean, backdating emails is kind of tricky, which is why the guy fucked it up, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there is, if you look closely at those emails, you can see that the dates don't quite line up. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the accomplice is his friend in IT. What more do we need? Some more connections. I mean, this is already a pretty short mystery, but it's got everything it needs so far, which is pretty cool for like less than an hour's work. Mm-hmm. So, once this is done, start detailing. All right, so let's give names to these characters. I do have a fancy name generator, so let me just dig it out.
Ooh. Something I do like of what you guys have done so far is that you could actually transplant this relatively easily for like the past 100 years. Like you could just turn the emails into like physical letters and.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the technology aspect is something that can either be a blessing or a curse, depending on how you use it.
Yeah.
I mean, the ultimate question with any murder mystery is, if they knew they were being chased, why didn't they use their mobile? And depending on your setting, that's not a question you have to answer. And sometimes like, oh, no reception, it was crazy. Oh, they happened to run out of batteries.
It's the mid '80s, and their cell phone is the size of a literal brick
of a small truck. All right, let me get that name generator. Okay, so the murderer, are they male or female?
I feel like if them being female would be interesting, because that would mean like the foreman could be a sexist dick as well.
Oh, absolutely. Like you know that happened. Sexual harassment and whatever else. So we can paint this guy as a complete skis ball. How does Cadence Reeves sound to you?
Ooh.
Sounds all right.
I like
Cadence Reeves. Okay. And what exactly is her job? So she obviously knows how to handle machinery enough to sabotage it. Like floor worker, engineer, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Engineer.
All right. The victim is, I guess, male, female, somewhere in between.
Oh, the victim's definitely male.
Okay. Anakin? Come on, guys. I'm gonna go with English first names. Hold on.
Yeah. We need him to be dead, not turned into Darth Vader.
Pretty much. All right. How's Lenny Hampton?
That is the most generic factory worker name I've heard in a while, and I love it.
Perfect. Done. All right. And for the foreman, obviously got to be a giant douchebag name. Oh, here we go. Rowley Foreman. Who happens to also be a foreman. His parents knew.
You were born for just this job, kid.
Mm-hmm. And the IT guy / girl. Guy or girl?
Let's make her a girl, so that way there's some camaraderie. Like
sure, go pal. All right. How's Tess Bell?
All right.
Does that seem reasonable?
Tess.
Or
yeah.
Tess not Norris. Norris is too much.
Tess Dell.
Tess Mitchell. Oh, Tess Dell. Damn. All right, cool. Okay, so these are for people of interest. Okay, so every person of interest needs a price and a, well, I called it a threat now because screw makes no sense unless you read it onwards. All right. So everyone needs a price and a threat. Let's see here. So, Cadence. She is an engineer. She likes killing people, apparently. What does she like, and what does she fear?
Well, my assumption is she fears getting caught.
Yeah, I know, right? Makes a lot of sense. All right, let's see. Okay, so her threat is like freedom, I guess. She doesn't want to get arrested. All right, and what does she like? We know that she sabotaged. Oh, she wants revenge. Of course she wants revenge. Because not only did she sabotage it, then she's like, wait a minute, I can pin it on this guy. So she super wants revenge. All right, Lenny, the poor Lenny, safety inspector. He is the most boring person in the world. Obviously, he wants safety, right?
He wants,
Of course, yep.
Wants safety. I mean, you could say that the reason he's taking all these morning shifts is because he just wants like financial security too.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Yeah, so he wants
his
safety.
family,
and he fears losing his income. So, yep, that is like the most bog standard boring individual known to man. So Rowley Foreman, who is also the foreman, all right. So I imagine with him, there's a couple. I'm just going to read them out, and you guys can pick some. So there's money. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of different like prices and threats that you can pick from. They're in the rulebook.
Oh no, I thought you said they were a couple, Lenny.
Oh no! No, there are a couple of prices and threats to choose from. Okay, so you've got money, lust, love, power, safety, family, image, community, freedom, excitement, revenge, and duty.
like lust and power, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
He's a skis ball, but
Yeah.
I think that his main thing is he just really likes pushing his authority as a foreman as far as he can. He likes
Oh yeah, power is totally the
for the sake of being.
Yeah, okay. So power will be his price because it's like, give me more, give me more. And what does he fear? Does he fear his image getting tarnished? Does he fear revenge from the people he knows he's screwing with? Or is there some other thing he fears, like maybe he's very concerned about his family for whatever reason? Or, he can dish it out but he can't take it, that kind of thing.
That's probably fair to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like classic bully.
Yeah.
Okay, so he wants power, and he fears lack of safety, because he can't take it. Mm-hmm. And Tess, our unsuspecting accomplice. Alright, so, Tess, how does she strike you? So she's helping someone to... she's helping someone she thinks mess with the boss, right? So what kind of a person does that?
For her, it might be like a lighthearted thing, but also she just doesn't like being bullied by him. So it could be like power, but not to the extent.
Yeah, it could be like excitement.
Yeah, excitement.
Yeah, like she's doing it for a laugh. Yeah, so the way she got on board is basically... So with these prices and threats, these aren't just buttons that the investigators can push. These are buttons other characters can push.
Yeah.
Right? So if Cadence knows that Tess is like a sucker for pranks or whatever, or likes to have a good time, she can be like, hey, let's screw this guy, it'll be funny. And Tess will be like, yes, let's do it. And what's her threat? What does she fear? Probably getting implicated in a murder seems like a problem. So let's call that one safety. So she likes screwing with people. She doesn't like getting punished for it. Okay. So, here's a question. I imagine that Cadence doesn't want to kill Tess, and as such will do whatever she can to keep Tess away from the situation. What's she going to do that?
Stage another accident.
Well, I'm assuming that she doesn't want to kill more people.
Well, no, but if she's IT, it could literally be something as simple as like, oh no, I spilled my coffee all over.
Well,
or unplug the air conditioner in the server room.
No.
Well, the thing with server rooms is that often what happens in them is if there's a fire in there, at least in my experience, the fire suppression system kicks in, which, amongst other things, takes all the oxygen out of the room. Like, it just fills it with this...
displaces it.
Yeah, it fills it with like this fire retardant gas instead of oxygen. So it just like smothers the fire. And anyone unlucky enough to be stuck in a room. So that is definitely a way...
Oops, here I go killing again.
Yeah, that's definitely a way for Tess to end up dead. So let's call that... we need a new event for that. So let's call it Sorry Tess.
Sorry.
Sorry, Dad.
No, sorry, man, you gotta go. What can I say? So, who did it? Obviously, it's Cadence. Why did they do it? Yeah, because she was gonna squeal.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did they do it? Yeah, server room fire, locked door. The rest is history.
They didn't clear the exit.
Yeah.
The real
must
crime
be
is
left
OSHA
open.
violations.
Yeah. The fire door must not be obstructed. It's like, that's the real crime. Sorry.
But we killed the person who would have pointed that out.
We did. That's the real tragedy of the situation. Okay, so what happened afterwards? What did happen afterwards? I'll let you guys answer this.
Well, that would bring further attention to the...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but like, if she has to kill Tess as well, the big question is, how does she stop her house of cards from collapsing? Because like, right now she's in way too deep at this point. So how can she turn this another direction?
Because I assume if there's another death, or I guess we'd call it the first death, quote unquote first death, that would probably shut down, the plant. Somebody dying on the job site is probably going to stop the shipments from going out for a couple days.
But they don't know someone's died until they find a body.
Yeah,
right.
And indeed,
we need to be gone.
Yeah, indeed, we need to actually readdress one of the previous questions, because what we said before was that Cadence herself called the cops or called the investigators, but that doesn't fit with the other stuff she's doing.
Right. So
she's trying to buy time. She's trying to buy time to get his car out of here. So someone else has to call the cops.
The family, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Well, you could also put a background of like a union dispute or something as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you can throw in a couple of things to just muddy the waters and be like red herrings. Not too many, but definitely enough to make the situation feel like it's alive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So it's probably been like a day or two since the murder, because she's just like waiting for the car to be shipped out, and like the family would have needed a day to realize he was gone, right? Because he died in the morning. Yeah. Okay. So the family. We've got some new characters. What is his family? Lenny, the most boring man on earth. What does his family look like?
One wife, One kid of each gender.
1.5 children, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and a dog.
And of course, her name is Doris.
Oh,
Why?
They're eerily trapped in the 50s.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and their son's name is Michael, and their daughter's name is something outlandish. It's like the one exciting thing they ever tried, and it didn't pan out. So it's got to be like Madonna.
Or Wednesday.
Yes,
I
Wednesday.
like Wednesday. I like that.
All right. So the kids are just like school kids. It's fine. Lenny's wife, is she like? All right, we're kind of stepping away from hard boiled here, but that's fine. This is more police procedural right now, but that's okay.
Well,
all
you
right.
can make it that a big thing with the hard boiled genre, in my lacking opinion, is like you could have it that the police don't really want to investigate yet and so they have to.
Yeah, because he hasn't been missing for like 24 hours, man. Nothing I can do. Yeah, you could do that, but like generally, hard boiled deals more with corruption, and police procedural is like someone messed up and did a crime. Someone messed up or did a crime, and like now you got to like follow the evidence to figure out what happened. Yeah. I think between the two of this, without adding some pretty outlandish elements, this fits police procedural a lot more, because it's like the cops are called, the cops go into solve the case. All right. So Doris Hampton, what's her job?
Stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, housemaker. I mean, the most boring man in the world has to have a stay-at-home wife. Yeah,
Obviously.
And on the side, she sells Tupperware.
So like stuck in a pyramid scheme. Yep. So the opening would probably be like talking to Doris, probably with Michael and Wednesday in tow. Okay, and she of course offers him Tupperware. Now, all right. So sorry, Tess. She's gonna squeal. So what happens after Tess dies? How does she like try to either pin this on someone else or absolve herself of the situation? Does she have something that she can use to point to the foreman, to Rowley Foreman?
maybe a sexual harassment thing.
Yeah, like a recording of a conversation where he's being extra sleazy or something.
Oh yeah, sure, but is that motive for murder? I mean,
he wants. I mean, his. So maybe instead of going in that direction, maybe play something
incriminating on her.
Right, play something incriminating on her, like maybe, if he's a skeezy foreman, maybe there's some evidence or something that he's doing something out of propriety or something, or cooking books or something.
So, I mean, you can't be a skeezy foreman without having a name tag that says, "Hi, my name is Rowley." And if there was a struggle, and she were to have, say, torn that off, and the body were to have it in their hand, I mean, it's not the most subtle of clues.
It's clipboard, just
or even a piece of fabric that she might have torn off, that kind of thing. Name tag is probably too much.
Yeah.
It could be like a hard hat, and that's differently colored.
And he left that in the murder room.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I imagine what happened here is that she knocked her out, then put her in the room, and then started the fire, knowing that the fire suppression system would finish the job. So that means at some point someone bonked her on the bonds. Oh, of course. Okay. So if someone bonked her on the bonds, there has to be a bonker, so to speak. There has to be a weapon.
Instrument of-
Yes, an instrument of bonking. Which is the technical term we mystery writers use. Okay. So sorry, Tess. What happens afterwards? Plant the murder weapon, or at least the bonker, somewhere in Rowley's stuff.
Just one of those big IBM keyboards. Just
Yes. No, just grab a CRT and smash it with it. I mean, those things will kill you. Gong. All right. So beforehand, had to knock her out. Yeah. So probably when this happens is like Tess confronts her and is like, "Hey, do you have anything to do with this missing person? Is that semi-illegal stuff you wanted me to do related to that?" And she's like, "Of course not. Let me just show you on my CRT." Well, I mean, obviously not a CRT, because you can't swing those. They're just way too heavy. But yeah, that works. Or at least it's a start. So this is a pretty... So I'd say it's a pretty short mystery. So like probably 6 or 7 spaces on a track. And we can kill Tess on like space 3 or 4.
Not sure if I should be happy or not.
I mean, these things are kind of fluid.
It's always nice to kill NPCs,
It is. It's the best.
but not your favorite one. That one always has plot armor.
Definitely. They were so lucky. Laser blast is great. It's older. All right. So villainous agenda. She's gonna die right in the middle of it, just to mix things up. Okay. So sorry, Tess. What happens afterwards? They plant the bonking implement in Rowley's stuff. Is that just like in his office, in his drawer, in his lunchbox?
Good luck fitting it as a CRT in the lunchbox.
Well, I mean, Rowley's got a big appetite. All right, so we can fit this together a little bit better if we... Yeah, so if Cadence makes it look like she was killed, or at least bonked, in Rowley's office, then she can make it look like she tried to confront him, and he didn't want her revealing that he was full of murders, and so he killed her. And so what can she do to make it look like that? Apart from just planting the bonk implement.
Maybe take some of her, I don't know, her hair or something like that. Strew it around. Like, plant some physical evidence that she was in the room.
Yeah, like a bit of blood or something.
Yeah, a spot of blood or, yeah.
Okay, but the only way that she'd be able to actually, like, get blood, per se, she'd probably have to get it from herself, right? So just, like, cut her hand or something and just smear it on the wall.
Well, she could try buying pig's blood.
She's got plenty of her own blood.
Why is there a pig blood charge on the credit card? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so like after Space 4, Cadence also has like a cut on her hand that she's bandaged. And she'll be like, "What? I work with heavy machinery, I get cuts."
Ever since Lenny's disappeared, it's been
crazy. The safety down here's gone way downhill. I wonder who could be responsible. Okay, so what's the villain's plan now? Cross your fingers and hope for the best. No. At this point, she's gonna. If she has to kill Tess, she's got to go like full blast after Rowley, because like if Tess dies, then she can't sit anymore, right? Like the first murder, maybe she gets away with it if the car leaves. But the second murder, she's got to pin that.
Fire alarm, yo.
Yeah, I'll leave that the yo. We don't need that. Okay, so fire alarm in the server room. So there should probably be like at least one other character that's involved here. Because at this point, it's like he said, she said. So we need like at least one person who is pretty easy to dismiss, but they still probably want to talk to. Oh, of course, the boyfriend.
Ooh.
Sorry, no, not the boyfriend. For a moment there, I thought Tess was our original victim, but no, Lenny's already got a wife. All right. Who else might have wanted to hurt poor Lenny? Poor, boring Lenny.
Lenny himself.
Suicide by mechanical arm. It's not much of an investigation angle.
They just find some really worrying text messages. Guys, I think he killed himself. Let's go home.
They talk to his shrink, and he's like, he just couldn't believe how uninteresting he was. All right, poor Lenny. Like, I'm sure being a safety inspector is a very interesting job, but it just wasn't for him, you know? He always wanted to be a foreman. All right. Or at least someone else they can talk to about the situation at the factory.
Is there a shift manager?
Oh, like the big boss.
Oh, so he's doing everything himself. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's another angle. We've got a big boss, and Lenny is the safety inspector. Maybe something wasn't up to code. And maybe like he was actually at least somewhat gonna blow a small whistle or cost the company money. It's like these mechanical arms, they're swinging all over the place, man. We've got to get these fixed.
He was actually going to call the number on the poster in the break room.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, for extra points, maybe the thing he was like doing a report to the boss about was literally that the thing that killed him wasn't safe.
There weren't enough guardrails by the robotic arms.
Also that, yeah, definitely. I mean, come on, guys. This is safety 101. All right. Who's the boss? What's the boss's name?
We need something that screams like I'm thinking like a guy chomping a cigar constantly.
And let's make him African American because all we've got right now is white boys.
Yeah, let's.
Trevor Noah.
Huh? Sherman Falls? Wait, what was that name?
I think he said Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah? Perfect. All right. So yeah, like Trevor would be one of their first points of contact, right? Because like one of my people went missing. No, you talk to me. And then he's like, I'm sure it's nothing. We've got a job to do. Get out of my office. And yeah, he's just going to be like the boss, and he's going to be difficult. And that's going to make him seem suspicious, but he actually didn't do anything.
Happens to mention that we have to get this shipment out in the next 3 days.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Incidentally, okay, so Tess only dies if she knows what's going on. Right? And she only finds out what's going on if the investigators talk to her. So it's possible that she doesn't have to die.
But she will probably die.
Was it?
She will probably die.
Probably. Yeah, but if they never follow up with Tess, if they never actually talk to her, then Tess is just like doing a job. She's just like posting cat memes. Yeah, because like she's off in IT. She's not paying attention to what's going on in here.
Turning some Pentium computers off and on again.
Yeah, exactly. And Cadence is actively trying to keep her separated from it. Right. So she's like keeping it on Twitter.
So she introduces her to Reddit.
No.
Yes, exactly. And then they get on TV tropes, and it's just all downhill from there. So Tess only dies if investigators talk to her about what's going on. Otherwise, she's stuck on cat memes. And isn't paying attention to the crisis. And so then we've also got Trevor Noah, which is like an excellent boss name. It's just douchey enough.
And
I
bougie.
mean, he also likes to crack some jokes, even though they're very bad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Trevor Noah is like one of the first points of contact. Is mildly suspicious because Lenny had some safety concerns, which he was ignoring. All right, so yeah, they'll go to the company and he will greet them because like it's his company and they're the police. All right, what else do we need? Does anybody see any gaping holes in this? Because yeah, it's not the most complicated mystery, but it's a good one. Or does anyone have anything they want to add? One of the things we could do is also establish a timeline, but this one's simple enough that I don't think we need one. Like, previously, Rowley was a prick, then Cadence sabotaged the machine. That morning, Lenny dies, and then everyone comes to work. Yeah, like, it's simple enough that it all fits together without conflicting.
Is it still an accidental victim, though? If
the first one is.
Okay.
Like, she sabotaged the machine, yeah, but she didn't mean for it to kill someone. She just meant for it like to go haywire, and then they'd have to like shut down the factory to get it fixed or something. But Lenny was just too good at his job and got killed by it, which is ironic for a safety inspector. You'd think he'd know better.
Lenny, despite everything, Lenny is the...
Yeah, he's the tragic hero of this piece. Poor Lenny, no one ever took him seriously. He was the only sane voice in this place. All right. So what's the company's name? We needed a name for the company. They're an auto manufacturer.
Edison.
Yes.
And they produce
Edison
electric
Motors.
cars.
Nice. Edison Motors make electric cars. Poorly. All right, excellent.
Yes, direct current only.
It's just superior,
Yeah.
Anyway, say they're not the best company, but whatever. They're in the market, and they're cutting costs on safety and whatever else, which is why people can just sabotage their mechanical arms to kill people.
The batteries catch on fire every now and again. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. That's a feature. It's warming. It warms you in the winter months. Okay, and so then, yeah, Lenny. Like, obviously, Lenny is testing it, but he's not expecting it to like fling into his face.
Yeah.
Like I guess he's standing somewhere because he's inspecting it that you wouldn't normally be standing when you're using it. Which, ironically, is the safer place to stand.
Or he didn't have his helmet. No, that would be...
No. Lenny, come on, guy. Lenny always wears a helmet.
I mean,
like, even in the break room?
Especially in the break room. They call it the break room because things get broken, dude. All right.
Yes.
So Edison Motors makes electric cars poorly. So Lenny was inspecting the arm in what should have been a safe position, but was killed because the arm behaved in a way it really shouldn't have.
It's because, like, Cadence perhaps didn't work on that piece of machinery, so she didn't actually...
Yeah. No, like, the thing is, when you're actually working with it, you're working down where the arm is, like, moving stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah? And when he's inspecting it, he's, like, behind it. So she rigged it to malfunction and swing around erratically, but not where people would be working.
Yeah.
It's just she forgot that Lenny was going to come and inspect it.
I can't believe she did this to him.
I know! Cadence, what are you doing? He had a family, Cadence. All right, what was
A
killed?
wife and 1.5 kids. can't believe.
He also had a dog and or a cat. All right.
What will his wife do now?
She's gonna have to sell a lot of Tupperware.
Yep, to make ends meet. All right.
She gets a job at the factory.
Yes. She carries on his legacy. Okay, so uncollated sabotage is perfectly safe for people working the floor. Not so much for when he was inspecting it. Okay. So she probably would have been careful enough to clear up most of the blood. I mean, it's possible that they could still pick up something. It'd just be really hard to find some trace that he might have died there. Or perhaps there could be some trace of the cleanup, like it smells like chemicals of a particular type. Okay. Yeah, I think that's everything we need. Awesome.
Is there like going to be any additional consequence on like the car being sent out? Maybe.
That's something for an epilogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So with a lot of these,
Someone.
yeah, with some of these, even so, if the villainous agenda hits, it doesn't always mean like, oh no, they got away forever. It's just like, well, they got away for now, and like you know, after today, after that car goes out, she's moving upstate. She's moving upstate and changing her name. So even if later on they find the body in the trunk, which obviously they will, generally the person you're after is going to be in the wind by then, or like that someone else caught them or something else. Basically, you missed your shot to catch them, or alternatively, something bad happened. In this case, poor Tess dies, and we don't want that. Come on, guys. Okay. Yeah, that was fun. I think this is ready to run. Does anybody have any questions?
So I actually have a rules question more than a.
Please do.
So, I know in the rules PDF, it says that you should progress the tracker after each character has a scene.
Yes.
So would that change dependent on the number of characters?
Yeah, that is something I'm actively grappling with right now. So, generally speaking, for something like this, I'd say just don't worry about splitting the party. My advice would be, and the way I'm leaning towards running it, is keep the party together unless one of them is going off to do a special action or like meeting a contact. So if they're going to like talk to a person of interest or a witness or check out a particularly important scene, like location, just encourage them to stay together unless they have a very good reason not to. But like one of them can split off to do research or talk to their contacts or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to try to house rule the -1 shift if you split up.
Sure. Yeah.
That kind of incentivizes them to stay together.
I'd say just like don't let them do it for now because it's a simple issue that they don't need to, and just yeah, you can split up or you can split up to do those special actions, but for the rest of it, just stay together.
Gotcha.
I'm working on a system now where, like, if you do run off on your own, there's a chance something goes wrong. Like, you make a check, and if you roll poorly on it, then like there's a consequence, which could be the scene is harder for you, something bad happens, or like someone's personal agenda is advanced, which is something else I'm working on right now. Because right now, one thing I've found with playtests is that you're doing stuff and the villain's doing stuff and the rest of the world is kind of static. And I don't like that. So, one thing I'm working in is like several of the persons of interest will have their own mini agendas, which is like Rowley wants to piss someone off so much it kills him. Or something like that. And then he gets his own mini track, which advances when consequences trigger. Right? So sometimes if someone rolls a partial or otherwise triggers a consequence and someone's personal agenda is connected to either the situation, what's going on, or you just can't think of something appropriate to hit them with, you can just advance someone's personal agenda, which will generally work against the investigators. Like, they'll do something to purposely or inadvertently mess with the investigation, or they'll go home and you can't talk to them anymore, or something like that.
You fall victim to the factory's many safety.
Yes. Many lapses of safety equipment. Maybe Lenny just wasn't doing a very good job.
Well, no, it's like the day, like it's been like a day, and with Lenny gone, it's just chaos.
It's the one thing holding
safety
the place
goes
together.
right out the window.
That's right.
People are like smoking next.
Yep, next to the petrol. On their mobile phones. All right. So yes, that is my answer for that. For now, just keep them together for the most part. Especially with like a mystery like this, which is pretty simple. They don't really need to split up. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Well, this was super fun, guys. We went to some interesting places.
I'm very satisfied with the names.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, poor Doris. Doris and Wednesday. They're gonna have a hard time ahead of them. But yeah, you guys feel free to use this adventure in your own games. Feel free to take it, change it, learn from it, improve it, whatever you want.
Okay, I'm just gonna blatantly download this as a docx.
Absolutely. Go for it. All right. So yeah, sorry we couldn't have a full-on playtest, but this was also fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Have the next rest of your day, guys.
And perfect timing. Awesome. Thanks. Have a good
Hey,
one,
it
guys.
is perfect timing. All right. See you, dudes.
Have a nice day, y'all.